Hello and welcome to this new Android development tutorial. In this tutorial we will learn how to integrate ads in our Android application, more specifically Admob banner ads. So we open Android Studio as always and we click on Start a new Android Studio project. We go to Empty Activity and click on Next. For the name of this app we will call it Admob integration. Okay, we will make sure the selected language is Java and the minimum API level is at least 14. We will click on finish and we will wait for the project to be loaded. So basically what we will do in this video is to import the Google SDK that allows us to show ads on our Android application. Alongside the video, you will find a text explanation which I will be following myself, and you can use to speed up the process instead of being copying what I copy actually, because I will be copying some stuff. I'll be copying some stuff for a text file. So let's see what can we do now. So here we have our text file which we will be using on this tutorial. As you can see, I have wrote down the steps we have to follow. As the first step, we can read here that says add Admob library. So to add Admob library, we will copy this line which starts with implementation and all of this. So we will copy this and we will paste it on our Gradle app.file. Build that Gradle in the module app file. So to find that file, you will go to the left under Gradle scripts and the second one. So don't be confused with the project one. You have to select the module app file. So you open the file, you scroll down to the bottom, and here you will find the dependencies. Inside this object, we will paste the line we just copied. As you can see, it is implementation com.google.android.gms play services ads lite. In this case, we're using the lite version because it has some advantages. The main one being that it's of course lite. It adds way less weight to your APK file. And this is the current version. Now we will click on the top bar, this one right here, which is the sync now button. We will click on it and we will wait for the sync to be completed. If you don't find that button, you can also search for this elephant button right here at the top and click on that. After we've done that, we go and keep doing the next steps. So the next step is to add the internet permission to our manifest. So we will copy this permission, this line right here, which is the internet permission, in which we ask for permission to access the internet. And to do that, we go to our manifest file, which is under the manifests folder. The file is called androidmanifests.xml, and there we copy right here below the package name, below this and before the application, we paste the user's permission line. So this is telling the system that we will use the internet to get ads. Okay, so the next step, we have to specify the ads metadata in the manifest inside the application tag. So we will copy this metadata object and we will paste it inside the application tag. So as you can see, this right here is the application tag, but we have to put it inside, like an activity is inside, at the same hierarchy level as an activity, as you can see right there. I will reformat the code to make it look a little bit better. I will add an extra line here in order for you to easily see what I just did. This is what I just pasted right here. So this, as you can see, has an Android value element. This value is the default value when you are testing apps. This will show test ads that you won't get revenue from. But when you are publishing your app, only when you are uploading it to the Play Store or any other Android app store, you have to change this value to the one that will be provided by Admob themselves for you. That is kind of a private value that will be associated with your actual Admob's account, so the revenue from that value will go to your bank account. So this right here, as I told you, is for testing. So for every time that the app is not being used by an end user. Okay, so we continue to the tutorial and we go to step 4, and we have to create an XML object. So here we have a whole linear layout, as you can see. So you will copy all of this and you will go to activity main.xml or whatever your layout file is. You will basically copy the whole thing. So you will delete everything and Ctrl V to paste this new element right here. Okay, if we go to preview, we can see here how the ad will look like. As you can see right there. We will be doing some adjustments if we don't like the position later in the video. Okay, so let's continue with the tutorial. The step number 5, we have to initialize the ad in Java. Okay, this line right here has to be called only once in the app life, I mean. So this means we have to call it, or it's very common to call it, on the onCreate method, as you can see right here. Now we have to import this library. You can go and do it with Alt-Enter or just write it: import com.google.android.gms.ads.mobile ads. Okay, and this code right here, this string, is the same we used in the Android manifest. Okay, so when you have your own thing, but that is only for production, just when you're going to publish the app, you will put your new one right here and also on the manifest. As you can see, it ends with 13, and this one also ends with 13 because it's the same. Okay, let's continue with the tutorial. Okay, now we have to define our add view object. To do this, we will copy this line, which basically says final add view my add and find view by id r.id.myAdd. So we have to import this new library. So we go import and com Google Android GMS ads and add view. Again, you can do it if you want, just pressing Alt-Enter. So right here we find the view by ID, and the ID of our view is r.id.myAdd, as you can see. So if you go to activity main XML file, here you find that the ad that we're showing on the screen has this ID. That's why we are referring to this exact object. Okay, we go back to the main activity.java file. And now we continue with the tutorial, which actually is kind of the last step we have to do before actually sending it to the device, which is loading the ad. So we copied that line from the text tutorial and we paste this line just after this my ad line. But here you can see that we have to do some stuff. So first of all, we have to change this because it's not referring to our ad. So the first thing we have to write is our ad name, which is called my ad, as you can see. Now we have to import another library which is called the add request com.google.android.gms.adds and add request Okay, we import that and we're ready to go actually. Now, so this will be what is basically the needed stuff to do. Now we click on run app. If you have a real device, you can run there, or if you have an emulator, you can also run it there. I am starting the emulator, and while we start, we will be explaining a little bit more about what we just did right here. Okay, let's see. So we are waiting for the emulator to be loaded. As you can see, it's loading state. Okay, now we check if the emulator is ready, and it is. So now it's waiting for the app to be sent to it. So we wait a little bit here. Okay, so we will check if everything is fine, and here we have our Admob integration. And as you can see, it says test add, and this we have loaded this time our add right here, as you can see. Now, what can we do differently? Okay, we can change the position of our add, or we can add an extra step on our tutorial, which is actually an optional step that is about an event listener that will tell us when the app is loaded. Because remember, in order for an ad to be loaded, it needs internet access. So what happens if a user doesn't have internet? So the ad won't be loaded. And when do I know? How do I know that? So for that, we just use an event listener that is called an ad listener. So the 8th step. So we loaded the ad, we run the app. We have run the app to test if we did everything fine, and it works fine. So here remember that when we load the ad, we have to use the name of our ad element. In this case, is my ad. Okay, don't forget this. So I did it just for you to understand, and not just to copy and paste everything, but also to understand why we're doing this. So this object is referred again right here. Okay, so the 8th step is optional but useful. Set an ad listener. Okay, we will copy this code right here, and we will go and test if the ad listener works as we expect. Okay, so as you saw here, the ads are updated. It says nice job. This is an 468 times 60 text test ad. Okay, so it's working fine. So there are different types of ads. There's not just the banner ad. There's also it's inside the banner category, but it's called medium rectangle, which is a size of kind of a square size, kind of a rectangle size, that won't usually fill the whole device width, but the height will be, I think, 4 times this one. So this is a kind of different ad size. We will do it later to understand how that works. So back on our create method, we will paste the code we just copied, the ad listener code, and we also have to import the ad listener library. So we go and type import com.google.android.gms.adds ad listener. Okay, So here we will define this variable as a global one. So the line that says private boolean add loaded equals false, we will cut and put it outside the onCreate method, right here. Okay? This flag, as I call it, this add loaded boolean flag, will tell us if the add has been loaded or not. As I told you, and as I told you that maybe the user doesn't have an internet connection at any given time. So what this is doing? So what this is doing is that when the add has been loaded, the flag is set to true. And if for some reason, like an internet failure or some other reason, the add failed to load, the add loaded flag is set to false. In this way, we will know what's going on. As a practical way of using it, we will use a button to load the add. So we go to our activity main, and here we will create something before the add object. For example, we will simulate we have an app right here. For example, it can be a text view and with match parent, height 0 dp, weight it can maybe 1. This really doesn't matter, this is just an example. And as text we will have this is my cool app, and we want it to be in the center, so we set gravity to center, and we wanted a lot more text size, so we will go text size maybe 30 sp, and we have that. Maybe we want to have a different text color, so we go text color and we set it to black. So very fast and easy to do. Now this is just an example to show you that now the add is at the bottom of the screen, okay? And now additional to this, we will put a button. By the way, the policy of Google for ads doesn't allow you to put a button near the ad or so close to the ad. That's why we will put it before the this is my cool app text view. So the button will be width will be match parent, height will be 50 dp, and as text it will say load ad. Okay, load ad, so we can have another text view like this one before the button. So this is just to simulate maybe an app design right here. Okay, no more than that. And here we have to add the button an ID. The ID will be load add button. Okay, as simple as that. Now we have a button, we have a kind of design, simple design simulation, and our app. We go back, we can put in a space right here, and we go back to our main activity.java file. And right here, just after the listener, we will set the button. So we will type final button, we will import button, import com.widget is Android that widget, is it widget? Android, it's not com, sorry, it's just Android, so import Android that widget that button. Oh, it's capital B, I think. Okay, so button. Now that we have our button imported, we will say final button load add button, and we will set these elements to find view by ID r.id that load add button. Okay, now we will add a click listener for this button, so we will know when this button is clicked and the action we wanted to perform when it's clicked. So to do that, we go and say load add button that set on click listener, and inside here we say new onClick listener, and the IDE auto-generates this useful code for us. Inside the onClick method is the action that will take place when we press the button. So we will move this code of load_add, so we cut this line and paste it when the button is pressed. Okay, just like that. So the add will be loaded only when we click the button. Now, as you may remember, we have set an add listener that we will change, or we will do experiments depending if the add is loaded or not. So in order for you to figure out or kind of understand better these, we will go to our activity main.xml, and when it says this is my cool app, we will add an ID to this text view field. We will go and say text view 1, okay, just to give it a name. Okay, so here, before we set the add listener, we go and create a text view object. So we say final text view. We import it. Sometimes it automatically imports it, and here we go and say my text view, just to give it a name. And we remember the name we gave it on the XML file was, so we go find view by ID r.id text view 1. Okay, so when the add is loaded, apart from setting the flag, we will set text to my text view. So we'll go and say my text view set text, the add was loaded. Okay, and when it fails to load, we go and say my text view that set text, the add failed to load. Okay, as simple as that. In this way we will know when the add is loaded or not. So right now I'm gonna run this app again, and we will see what happens. So it's being compiled by the IDE, and when it's ready, it will be shown in this screen right here, so on our emulator. So it says this is my cool app, and the add is still not loaded because we haven't pressed the load add button. We go ahead and press load add, and here we have the add was loaded, and we have actually the add loaded. So what happens now if we go and disable the internet connection right here? So we disable it, and we press load add again. So we will do it, and it says the add failed to load because there's no internet. However, the previous add is still shown because it was saved into memory. But if we launch the app without internet, it won't be shown at all. So we will test that again. So I am launching the app again. I am sending it again. And this time the app from the beginning doesn't have internet. And I will press the load add button, and right straight it says the add failed to load. As you can see, there's no add whatsoever. So this was how to set up banner ads. This is a very, very interesting tutorial to learn. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you learned it, and I see you in the next one. Bye.